Now, let us learn the rules that will guide us in solving problems in Surds. Okay, so the first rule: the square root of the product A and B is equal to the square root A times square root B. So we will write this as this. Okay, you don't need to cram anything. Alright, just follow the explanations. Okay, good. So for example, the square root 4 times 2, we will write this as square root 4 times square root 2, just as the rule says. Okay, so the square root of 4 we know is 2 times the square root of 2, which we know is a surd. Okay, so we write as square root 2. So now suppose we are given square root 5 times square root 15. At first glance, this cannot be simplified, but we can rewrite the expression as the square root 5 times 15. Alright, which can also be written as the square root 5 times 15 will give us 75. Okay, it can be written as the square root 75, and 75 can be written as 25 times the square root of 25 times 3. Okay, which can also be rewritten as the rule says, square root 25 times square root 3. Alright, and we know that 25 is a perfect square. Okay, so the square root of 25 is what? Good, 5. Then the surd square root 3. Okay, but you need to watch out if you are given, for instance, the square root of 4 plus 9, which is the square root of 13. That is 4 plus 9, which gives us the square root 13. This does not equal, as the rule says, square root 4 plus square root 9, which is going to give us the square root of 4 we know is 2, and the square root of 9 we know is 3, and that gives us 5. Now 5 cannot be the answer, as that is the square root of 25. Okay, not the square root of 13. Alright, so now let's quickly solve more questions applicable to this rule. Now let us simplify. Square root 12 times square root 3. Alright, so we rewrite this as the square root bracket 12 times 3 bracket. Okay, because at first glance you can't work this out. Okay, so now 12 times 3 will give us 36, so we have square root 36, and 36 being a perfect square will give us the square root of 36 will give us 6. Good. Another question: simplify square root 24. Okay, we will write this as square root 4 times square root 6. 6 times 4 will give us 24. Okay, so now 4 is a perfect number. Okay, so the square root of 4 will give us what? 2. So we have 2 square root 6. Let's simplify this as well. We have square root 400 times square root 9. Good. So we rewrite these, or we simplify further. The square root 400 will be broken down as 4 times 100. Okay, which you know will give us square root 400. Okay, then for square root, sorry, this is 90. Square root 90, we have 9 times 10. Okay, good. So we continue. The square root of, we break this down. So we have square root 4 times square root 100. Then we also break this down, which gives us square root 9 times square root 10. So we'll simplify further. Square root 4 being a perfect square is 2. Square root 100, square root of 100 is 10. Good. Then the square root of 9, a perfect number, sorry, is 3. Square root 10 is a surd, so we'll leave it as square root 10. Alright, so let's multiply these. 2 times 10 is 20. 20 times 3 will give us 60. So we have 60 square root 10. Good. We cannot simplify any further. So you can clearly see the application of the first rule. Good.